Good evening. My name is Mike Palmer, and I'm your governor. Most of you will remember that 3 years ago, we were hit with a devastating coronavirus outbreak. It killed over 100,000 Americans. And it was at that time that I realized that as a governor, I had tremendous emergency powers that I could use in the name of public health. After all, you can't put a dollar value on human life. So you may recall that I made you stay indoors. If you had to go out, you could go out with a mask. I closed beaches. I closed beauty salons. I closed bars. I didn't close abortion clinics. I shut down businesses, and I put millions of our citizens out of jobs. Unemployment shot up. State budget had a huge deficit. And then when we recovered, we started laying off some of our state workers. And I'm sure you'll remember all that. But the lesson I learned was that this was setting a precedent, that I could use those powers for good in the future. And that's what I've decided to do starting tomorrow. And I want to share this with you now, because what I intend to do starting tomorrow is to deal with a health crisis that kills 300,000 people a year in this country. That's 3 times as many as died in the coronavirus. 300,000. And what is that crisis? Obesity. It's been in the news for several years now, since Speaker Pelosi pointed out that Donald Trump was morbidly obese, setting a new low in political discussion. But it is a real problem, obesity, and people do die from it, if not directly, indirectly. And that's what I'm going to address with my new programs starting tomorrow. Now, what are some of these programs? What's the program involved to deal with this? I'm banning all fried food. If you eat out, you cannot eat fried food. If you're eating it at home and your neighbor reports that he or she, or some other pronoun, smells fried chicken being cooked in your house, the police will respond. We're setting up a special number for that. We're banning all sodas made with sugar or sugar-like products. We're banning all fruit juices. I mean, after all, some of them actually have more calories than sodas. We're banning all fruit, which is also loaded with calorie. We're in restaurants, all meals will be limited, not counting drinks, although all the drinks have to be 0 calorie, and salads, but the entree itself and the sides that come with it cannot be over 750 calories. If you want to order a pizza, that's okay, but you're only allowed to order 1 12-inch pizza for every 2 people in the house. So basically, if you live by yourself, you're not allowed to eat pizza. And the sales of pizza in stores, food stores, will also be restricted. Now, I think that these measures will save uncounted lives in the long run. And this, what you might call it, an obesity lockdown, may well have to continue not just for years, but for decades. It's going to take a long time until we can thin down the population. But look at the good side of it. Your food bills will decline. Again, you'll live longer. And there'll be more food for other people, so fewer people will be starving. So more than 100,000 lives will be saved every year if I follow these procedures in our state. And as you know, and you've probably heard, several other governors from my party are doing the same in their states. So I think that that's, what we want to do here. We've learned how to use executive power to help people with their health needs. We don't want our hospital systems to be burdened with diabetics, people who drink, eat, and consume too much sugar. We don't want our health system to be overburdened by people who have obesity-related problems. If you've been, as I have, to hospitals and medical centers that treat, for example, who do knee replacements and hip replacements, if you've ever been in there, you've noticed that the vast bulk of the people getting these knee and hip replacements are morbidly obese, which is why their knees give out. So this will help in that area as well. Now, some people might say I'm violating the Constitution, I'm violating the Bill of Rights. I don't know what to say about that because I've actually never read either of those documents. But I'm working on precedent here. You know, when we say we support the rule of law, and people in our party are always saying we support the rule of law, the rule of law is three things. It's the law itself and what it says. The court decisions related to the law, making sure that it's constitutional, and then there are precedents. Now, a lot of these precedents were set back during the coronavirus. I mean, before that, as governor, I never knew how much power I actually had because nobody had actually tried to exercise that much power before. But we did it. And for the most part, the courts upheld what we did. And those are the lessons that we learned, certainly the lessons I learned from dealing with the coronavirus. So now I'm going to use those same powers to deal with the obesity epidemic in this country. Because we've got to get people thinned down. It's good for them. If you go out and if you're eating fried food, you're endangering our healthcare system. You could overburden it. I mean, if we didn't have so many people eating fried food and junk food, oh, did I mention that? I'm closing all fast food restaurants unless all they decide to sell is salad and water, bottled water, salad with no dressing. Otherwise, all fast food restaurants are being shut down. Too many calories, too much salt. It's just bad for you. Now, some people, again, will say that I'm overstepping my bounds here, but you can't overstep your bounds when you're using executive power to save lives. And that's what I am doing here. So I welcome criticism, but you know, if you criticize what I'm saying, it just means that you hope 300,000 people die next year. And if that's what you're doing, you're marching down the street with a sign saying, you know, that I should be impeached or I should be removed from office or worse. It just means you're the kind of person who wants your fellow citizens to die from obesity-related diseases. You just don't care about people. You must be some horrible person, and I will use my executive power to prevent you from protesting. Likewise, I've asked YouTube and all the other social media platforms to take down anybody who posts any comments or videos questioning my actions, because those people are obviously selfish SOBs who don't care about human life, whereas I do care about human life, and that's why I've decided to do what I have to do, and to do it now.